And King David was old, advanced in days, and they kept clothing him with clothes, and he was not being warmed. And his servants said, Let them search for a young virgin for our lord the king, and she shall wait on the king, and she shall be keeping him warm, and shall fall asleep with him, and our lord the king shall be warmed. And they searched for a beautiful girl from every boundary of Israel, and found Abisag the Somanite, and brought her to the king. And the girl was beautiful, extremely so, and she was keeping the king warm, and was ministering to him, but the king did not know her. And Adonias, son of Haggith, was exalting himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared for himself chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run along before him. And his father did not even hinder him, saying, For what reason did you act? And indeed he was very youthful in appearance. And he begot him after Absalom. And his conferences were with Joab the son of Saruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they were helping behind Adonias. And Zadok the priest, and Benaiah son of Jodai, and Nathan the prophet, and Simei and Ray, and the powerful men of David were not behind Adonias. And Adonias offered sacrifices, sheep and calves and lambs, with stone of Zoeleth, which was next to the spring of Rogel. And he invited all his brothers and all the prominent men of Judah, servants of the king, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah and the powerful men, and Solomon his brother, he did not invite. And Nathan spoke to Bersabee, mother of Solomon, saying, Did you not hear that Adonias son of Haggith became king, and our lord David did not know? And now come, I will indeed give you advice, and deliver your own life and the life of your son Solomon. Come on, go in to King David, and you shall speak to him, saying, Did you not, my lord, O king, swear to your slave, saying, Solomon your son shall be king after me, and he shall sit on my throne? And why is it that Adonias became king? And behold, while you are still there speaking with the king, I too will go in after you, and will fill out your words. And Bersabee went into the king into the chamber, and the king was very old, and Abisag the Somanite was ministering to the king. And Bersabee bent down and did obeisance to the king, and the king said, What is it with you? And she said, My lord, O king, you swore by the Lord your God to your slave, saying, Solomon your son shall be king after me, and he shall sit on my throne. And now behold, Adonias became king, and you, my lord, O king, did not know. And he offered sacrifices, calves and lambs and sheep in great numbers, and invited all the sons of the king, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the commander of the force. But Solomon your slave he did not invite. And you, my lord, O king, the eyes of all Israel are towards you, to tell them who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. And it will come to pass, when my lord the king sleeps with his fathers, that I myself and my son Solomon will be sinners. And behold, while she was still speaking with the king, Nathan the prophet also came, and it was told the king, Behold Nathan the prophet. And he entered in front of the king, and did obeisance to the king, in front of him on the ground. And Nathan said, My lord, O king, did you say, Adonias shall be king after me, and he shall sit on my throne? For today he went down and offered sacrifices, calves and lambs and sheep in great numbers, and invited all the sons of the king, and the commanders of the force, and Abiathar the priest. And behold, they are eating and drinking before him. And they said, Let King Adonias live. But me myself, your slave, and Zadok the priest, and Benaiah son of Jodai, and Solomon your slave he did not invite. If this thing has been brought about by my lord the king, then you did not let your slave know who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. And David answered and said, Summon to me Bersabee. And she came in before the king and stood before him. And the king swore and said, The Lord lives, who redeemed my life from every affliction, that I swore to you by the Lord the God of Israel, saying, Solomon your son shall be king after me, and he shall sit on my throne instead of me. That so will I do this day. And Bersabee bent down on her face on the ground and did obeisance to the king and said, Let my lord King David live forever. And King David said, Summon to me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah son of Jodai. And they came in before the king. And the king said to them, Take the slaves of your lord with you, and mount my son Solomon on my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And there let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him king over Israel, and trumpet with a horn, and you shall say, Let King Solomon live. And he shall sit on my throne, and he shall be king instead of me. And I myself commanded that he be ruler over Israel and Judah. And Benaiah son of Jodi answered the king and said, May it be, may the Lord, the God of my lord the king, so guarantee. As the Lord was with my lord the king, so may he be with Solomon, and may he make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David. And Zadok the priest went down, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah son of Jodi, and Kerethi and Phelethi, and they seated Solomon on the mule of King David, and led him away to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took the horn of oil from the tent, and anointed Solomon, and trumpeted with the horn. And all the people said, Let King Solomon live. And all the people went up after him, and they were dancing in choruses, and rejoicing with great joy, and the earth burst at their sound. And Adonias heard, and all his guests, and they finished eating. And Joab heard the sound of the horn, and said, What, the sound of the city echoing? While he was still speaking, also behold, Jonathan son of Abiathar the priest came. And Adonias said, Come in, for you are a man of power, and bring good news. And Jonathan answered and said, Actually, our lord King David made Solomon king, and the king sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah son of Jodi, and Kerethi and Phelethi, and they seated him on the mule of the king. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anointed him king in Gihon, and they went up from there rejoicing. And the city echoed, This is the sound that you heard. And Solomon sat on the throne of the kingdom, and the slaves of the king came in to bless our lord King David, saying, May God make the name of Solomon your son better than your name, and make his throne greater than your throne. And the king did obeisance on his bed. And indeed thus said the king, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who today gave from my offspring one sitting on my throne, and my eyes see it. And all the guests of Adonias were astounded and rose, and they went away, a man on his way. And Adonias was afraid from before Solomon, and got up and went away, and took hold of the horns of the altar. And it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonias was afraid of King Solomon, and he is holding fast to the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear to me today, whether he will not put his slave to death with a sword. And Solomon said, If he should become a son of power, if one of his hairs shall fall on the ground. But if wickedness is found in him, he shall be put to death. And King Solomon sent and brought him down from upon the altar. And he entered and did obeisance to King Solomon. And Solomon said to him, Come on to your house. And the days of David drew near for him to die. And he commanded Solomon his son, saying, I am going by way of all the earth. And you shall be strong, and you shall become a man. And you shall keep the charge of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments, and the statutes and the judgments which are written in the law of Moses, so that you may understand what you shall do in all things, whatever I command you, so that the Lord may establish his word that he spoke, saying, If your sons take heed of their way, to walk before me in truth with their whole heart, and with their whole soul, saying, There shall not be utterly destroyed for you a man from upon the throne of Israel. And indeed you knew what Joab son of Zeruiah did to me, what he did to the two commanders of the forces of Israel, to Abner son of Ner, and to Amasai son of Jether. And he killed them, and arrayed the blood of war in peace, and put innocent blood on his belt that was on his waist, and on his sandal that was on his foot. And you shall act according to your wisdom. And you shall not bring his gray hair down in peace to Hades. And you shall do mercy to the sons of Berzeli the Galadite, and they shall be among those who eat at your table. For thus they drew near to me when I ran away from before Absalom your brother. And behold, there is with you Shimei son of Gerah, son of the Yemeni from Baarum, and he cursed me with a painful curse, on the day when I went to camps. And he came down to meet me at the Jordan, and I swore to him by the Lord, saying, If I will put you to death with a sword. And you shall not hold him guiltless, for you are a wise man, and you will know what you shall do to him, and you shall bring his gray hair down with blood to Hades. And David slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. In Hebron he reigned 7 years, and in Jerusalem 33 years. And Solomon sat on the throne of his father David, a son of 12 years, and his kingdom was well prepared. And Adonias son of Haggith came in to Beer-sheba, Solomon's mother, and did obeisance to her. But she asked, Is your visit peace? And he said, Peace, a word for me with you. And she said to him, Speak. And he said to her, You know that the kingdom was mine, and all Israel set its face on me to be king. And the kingdom was turned about and became my brother's, for it was his from the Lord. And now I request one request from you, do not turn away your face. And Beer-sheba said to him, Speak on. And he said to her, Speak now to King Solomon, for he will not turn his face from you. And he will give me Abishag the Somanite for a wife. And Beer-sheba said, Very well, I will speak to the king on your behalf. And Beer-sheba went in to King Solomon to speak to him on behalf of Adonias. And the king rose to meet her and kissed her. And he sat on his throne, and a throne was placed for the king's mother, and she sat on his right. And she said to him, I request one small request from you, do not turn your face away. And the king said to her, Make your request, my mother, for I will not refuse you. And she said, Let now Abishag the Somanite be given to your brother Adonias as a wife. And King Solomon answered and said to his mother, And why do you request Abishag for Adonias, and request for him the kingdom? For he is my brother, the great one beyond me, and he has the priest Abiathar, and he has Joab the son of Zeruiah, the commander-in-chief for a companion. And King Solomon swore by the Lord, saying, This is what God may do to me, and this may he add, for Adonias spoke this word at the risk of his life. And now the Lord lives, who prepared me and placed me on the throne of my father David, and he made me a house, as the Lord spoke. For today Adonias shall be put to death. And King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaiah, son of Jodi, and did away with him. And Adonias died on that day. And the king said to the priest Abiathar, Depart quickly for Anathoth, to your field, for you are a man of death on this day, and I will not put you to death, because you carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord before my father, and because you were afflicted with all the hardships with which my father was afflicted. And Solomon banished Abiathar from being a priest of the Lord, to fulfill the word of the Lord that he spoke regarding the house of Eli in Siloam. And the news came to Joab the son of Zeruiah, for Joab had inclined after Adonias, and did not incline after Solomon. And Joab fled to the covert of the Lord, and grasped the horns of the altar. And it was told to Solomon, saying, Joab fled to the tent of the Lord, and behold, he is grasping the horns of the altar. And Solomon sent to Joab, saying, What happened to you, that you have fled to the altar? And Joab said, Because I was afraid from before you, and I fled to the Lord. And King Solomon sent Benaiah, son of Jodi, saying, Go, and do away with him, and bury him. And Benaiah, son of Jodi, came to Joab into the tent of the Lord, and said to him, This is what the king says, Come out. And Joab said, I am not going out, for I will die here. And Benaiah, son of Jodi, returned and said to the king, saying, This is what Joab has spoken, and this is what he has answered me. And the king said to him, Go, and do to him as he has said, and do away with him, and you shall bury him. And today you will take away from me and from my father's house the blood that Joab shed without cause. And the Lord brought back the blood of his injustice on his head, as he fell upon the 2 persons who were more righteous and better than he, and he killed them with a sword. And my father David did not know of their blood. Abner, son of Ner, commander-in-chief of Israel, and Amasa, son of Jether, commander-in-chief of Judah. And their spilled blood was brought back on his head, and on the head of his offspring forever. And to David and to his offspring, and to his house and to his throne, may there be peace from the Lord forever. And Benaiah, son of Jodi, came upon Joab, and put him to death, and buried him at his house in the wilderness. And the king put Benaiah, son of Jodi, in command in his place. And the kingdom was being established in Jerusalem. And the king appointed the priest Zadok, first priest in the place of Abiathar. And the Lord gave Solomon discernment and very great wisdom and breadth of mind, like the sand which is by the sea. And the discernment of Solomon was greatly multiplied, above the discernment of all ancient sons, and above all prudent ones of Egypt. And he took the daughter of Pharaoh, and brought her into the city of David, until he first finished his house, and the house of the Lord, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. In 7 years he made and finished them. And Solomon had 70,000 bearing a burden, and 80,000 stonecutters in the hill country. And Solomon made the sea, and the supports, and the great washbasins, and the pillars, and the fountain of the court, and the bronze sea. And he built the citadel and its defences, and he cut through the city of David. Thus Pharaoh's daughter used to go up from the city of David to her house which he built for her. Then he built the citadel. And Solomon would offer up in the year 3 whole burnt offerings, and peace offerings on the altar that he built for the Lord, and would burn incense before the Lord, and he finished the house. And these are the chief officers who were appointed over the works of Solomon, 3,600 overseers of the people, who did the works. And he built Assur, and Magdo, and Gazer, and Upper Beth-horon, and Baalath. Only after he built the house of the Lord, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. After these he built these cities. And while David was still alive, he commanded Solomon, saying, Behold, with you is Shimei son of Gerah, son of the offspring of the Yemeni, from Hebron. He cursed me with a painful curse on the day I was going into camps. And he would come down to meet me at the Jordan. And I swore to him by the Lord, saying, If he will be put to death with a sword. And now do not hold him guiltless, for you are a prudent man, and you will know what you shall do to him, and you shall bring his grey head down with blood to Hades. And the king summoned Shimei, and said to him, Build yourself a house in Jerusalem, and sit there, and you shall not go out from there to any place whatever. And it will be on the day of your going out, and you shall cross the Wadi Kidron, knowing you shall know that by death you shall die. Your blood shall be on your own head. And the king caused him to swear on that day. And Shimei said to the king, The dictum is fair that you have spoken, my lord, O king. So will your slave do. And Shimei stayed in Jerusalem 3 years. And it happened after 3 years that 2 of Shimei's slaves ran away to King Ankus, son of Maacah of Geth. And it was told Shimei, saying, Behold, your slaves are in Geth. And Shimei arose and saddled his donkey, and went to Ankus in Geth to search for his slaves. And Shimei went and brought his slaves from Geth. And it was reported to Solomon, saying, Shimei went from Jerusalem to Geth, and brought back his slaves. And the king sent and summoned Shimei, and said to him, Did I not make you swear by the Lord, and solemnly adjure you, saying, Knowing you shall know, that on the day you go out of Jerusalem, and go to the right or to the left, by death you shall die. And why is it that you have not kept the oath of the Lord, and the commandment which I commanded you? And the king said to Shimei, You know all your evil that your heart knew that you did to my father David, and the Lord has recompensed your evil on your own head. And King Solomon is blessed, and the throne of David shall be established before the Lord forever. And King Solomon commanded Benaiah son of Jodai, and he went out and did away with him, and he died. And King Solomon was very prudent and wise, and Judah and Israel were very many as the sand which is by the sea in great number, eating and drinking and being happy. And Solomon was chief among all the kingdoms, and they were bringing gifts, and they were subject to Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon began to open the resources of Lebanon, and he built Thermai in the wilderness. And this was the midday meal for Solomon, 30 cores of choice flour, and 60 cores of ground meal, 10 choice calves, and 20 pasture-fed oxen, and 100 sheep, besides deer and gazelles and choice fatted birds. For he was chief everywhere across the river, from Raphi to Gaza, among all the kings across the river, and he had peace on all his sides round about. And Judah and Israel lived in confidence, each under his vine and under his fig tree, eating and drinking, from Dan and as far as Beer-sheba, all the days of Solomon. And these were the officials of Solomon: Azariah son of Zadok the priest, and Ornu son of Nathan chief of those in charge of Idram, over his house, and Suba scribe, and Basa son of Achitalam recorder, and Abi son of Joab commander-in-chief, and Akira son of Idrai over the levies, and Benaiah son of Jodai over the main court and over the brickworks, and Zakur son of Nathan the counselor. And Solomon had 40,000 brood mares for chariots and 12,000 horsemen, and he was chief among all the kings from the river and as far as the land of Alaphiles, and to the borders of Egypt. Solomon son of David reigned over Israel and Judah in Jerusalem.